All right, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we have been waiting for is here. Up front will be Mark Nelson and Stephen Gibson, Mark Dantuma, Brian Oshinska on the second row. Brian's best qualifying run this season. Kyle Holden, Jeff Hinkle on the third row. Frank Klein, Ray Hillhouse have the fourth. Michael Whiting and Harley Barletta round out the top 10. Kevin Reed, Richie West, 11th and 12th. Brandon Springer is 13th. Mike Smith starts 14th. Wild Bill Percy starts in 15th. Rick Sargent in 16th. Nick Marco in 17th. DJ the Iceman Kenner starts 18th. Albie Hewins in 19th. Jared Heasley in 20th. Gerald Thanos Poole starts in 21st. William Mann Sr. starting in 22nd. Worth noting that a couple of the guys starting towards the back actually had some of the fastest laps in practice, but did not go out for qualifying. It'll be interesting watching them come through this 22-car field tonight. Looks like everybody has taken to the grid and about to start rolling. Ninja Turtles on the wall at Chicagoland. And all the drivers are rolling. 110 laps, the fuel window 42 to 45 laps. It'll be a two-stop race here. Chicagoland does tend to have a caution or two early, followed by the remainder of the race being a long green flag battle. Would not surprise anybody to see the field go green to checkers again here tonight. We'll have to ask Nicole here in a little bit how many cautions they had last night. I do understand it was a pretty clean race. Mark Nelson, Stephen Gibson gonna lead them down as the pace car gets ready to drop in. Pace car is in. Here we go. There's Barney the flag man. He drops the green there. Underway at Chicagoland. Gibson trying very quickly to get the nose out ahead as they head down towards turn one. I don't think he got any of the wall there. Heard a lot of the drivers talk about the car being loose early, but as it tightens up, they're going to be up by the wall like Brian Oshinska. Way up there, big push in the middle of 3 and 4. Oshinska trying to fight his way back. They're 3 and 4 wide back behind. Everybody moving early here. Wild Bill already up 2 spots into 13th, making his way toward the front. Richie West down the bottom trying to hold his position. Harley Barletta leading the second group here, trying to close in on Michael Whiting. Michael Whiting sporting a new paint scheme here tonight as well. And getting word from Nicole that in the truck race last night, only 1 caution. Frank Klein already up 3 spots. He is up into 4th place as he follows Dantuma around. Stephen Gibson, meanwhile, setting the fastest lap in the race so far last time by. Tire wear will become an issue about lap 7 or 8, and times will start to drop off. Mark Nelson in second. Frank Klein making a move for third right now. He's got the run down underneath Dantuma. Pulls it up into third. Mark Dantuma back to fourth. Brian Oshinska, after being extremely high through 3 and 4 on the first lap, gathering it up, currently runs in fifth. Kyle Holden and Jeff Hinkle right behind him. Holden trying to hold Hinkle down, but this is, Hinkle, not something we normally see out of Jeff Hinkle, getting down to the apron. Hinkle now looking under Oshinska. Holden's going to follow him through. Is Michael Whiting close enough to take advantage? At the moment, he is not. Oshinska manages to hold Kyle Holden off. And two of the drivers that did not qualify already starting to make some moves. Jared Heasley up 5 spots into 14th. William Mann Sr. up 5 spots into 17th. DJ the Iceman Kenner already up a couple of spots as well. He goes up the track a little bit out of turn 2. Senior underneath. Stephen Gibson, meanwhile, in the lead. Mark Nelson in second. Frank Klein in third. Mark Dantuma in fourth. Jeff Hinkle now into fifth. Kyle Holden still battling with Oshinska for sixth. Holden, so far, 4 of the 6 races have been won by Kyle Holden. Will tonight be win number 5? He is looking for that title this season. Michael Whiting holding on back in 8th place. Once these two wear their tires out, Whiting will be able to come flying by. Kevin Reed has now moved up into 9th. Barletta holding on to 10th. Mike Smith up 3 spots into 11th. He's starting to come forward, and he's bringing Rick Sargent with him in 12th. Look who's in 13th right behind, up 7 spots as he comes by Wild Bill Percy. Jared Heasley up into 13th. Little bobbling out of turn 4. Car still fighting a little bit loose. Bill Percy trying to fight back up on the high side. And look at the speed they are running down the back straightaway. Bill Percy fighting his way back by Mike Smith, Rick Sargent down on the apron down the front straightaway. Moving down to the apron is faster through the front stretch, but it does wear the tires more every time you make that transitioning from the banking. Mark Nelson has challenged for and taken the lead from Stephen Gibson. Mark Nelson was out several weeks due to vacation. He told me last week that he has got a lot of ground to make up here over the next few races. After Watkins Glen last week, he picked up 4 spots in the points, up into 18th now. 101 points behind the leader, just looking to make up as many points as possible over the next few races. Gibson in second, Klein in third, Dantuma in fourth, Jeff Hinkle in fifth. Kyle Holden back to the high side battling with Hinkle. Michael Whiting now in seventh. Harley Barletta's picked up some spots into eighth. Kevin Reed following him for ninth. Brian Oshinska dropping back a little bit into 10th. Rick Sargent up 5 spots into 11th. Jared Heasley continuing to march his way forward up 6 spots into 14th. William Mann Sr. up 7 spots into 15th, but he has his hands full with DJ the Iceman Kinner. Back up front, Nelson still leading him around. Remember, they can go 42 to 45 laps on a tank of fuel. Kyle Holden has finally gotten past Jeff Hinkle, now up into 5th place, sets his sights on Mark Dantuma. Jeff Hinkle now in 6th. Michael Whiting now in 7th. Harley Barletta leads that second group back in 8th. He is gaining ground on that lead pack as Kevin Reed comes by. Rick Sargent tries to anyway. Rick fighting back on the bottom. Bill Percy now up into 11th. Bill having a good season in the trucks, but has had a lot of bad luck in the Cup cars so far this season. Could tonight be the turnaround point for Wild Bill? Kevin Reed goes up the track out of turn 4. Bill heads on by. Jared Easley going to try and go through the open door and bring Mike Smith with him. Chicagoland does put on quite a show. There will be battles throughout this race all over the track. Heasley now passing into 11th, and Wild Bill cracks into the top 10. Back up front, Mark Nelson trying to open up a bit of a gap. He's got half a second right now on Stephen Gibson. Meanwhile, Kyle Holden up by the wall, and Jeff Hinkle is back here. Hinkle now looks down to the inside, can't quite get there. Michael Whiting, who's just been riding around behind this battle, and look at Kyle Holden, he was pushing Dantuma down the front stretch. Multiple grooves of racing, as you see there, guys trying to find some speed anywhere to get past the car in front. Dantuma now shoots it to the bottom underneath Frank Klein. That's the battle for third. Mark Dantuma, Jeff Hinkle all the way to the apron. Mark doesn't gain anything on that one, neither does Hinkle. Oh, they're touching in the middle of one. That got a little dicey for a minute. Both drivers doing a great job keeping them going the right way. Michael Whiting's been running around behind this race behind this battle since the green. Now pulls back up. He's going to try and come by everybody in front of him. Mark Nelson, meanwhile, out front. But Stephen Gibson has started to reel him in. Klein and Holden, nose to tail behind. Jeff Hinkle currently sits in 5th. Michael Whiting, Mark Dantuma go at it again. This time Michael Whiting goes to the bottom. Harley Barletta sits 8th. Rick Sargent now up 7 spots into 9th. Bill Percy in 10th. Jared Heasley still charging. He's in 11th. Up 9 spots. He's the biggest mover so far. And DJ, the Iceman Kenner, down to the bottom. He's looking, oh, Heasley may have gotten the wall. DJ gets by Heasley here. And it does look like Heasley may have lost a little momentum there, just gave the wall a little kiss. Quite a battle going on for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th right now. Rick starting to pull away just a little bit. DJ Kenner now to 10th. Bill Percy and Jared Heasley battling it out for 11th. Bill said he was struggling a little bit in practice earlier on, but I think he's got it figured out. He is inches off the wall. I don't know that he got into the wall. Hasn't lost any speed at all. Didn't see any sparks off the car. Just using every inch of the track here. Meanwhile, the Iceman in 10th has set his sights on Rick Sargent. Looks like DJ was taking it early in the early laps, saving a little bit of his tire. Now here we are halfway through the first run, and DJ is on the march. Speaking of on the march, another driver who somehow has saved all his tires is in 3rd. Yeah, Chris definitely using every inch of the track, including the apron. Am surprised again to see Jeff Hinkle using the apron, because that transition from the banking to the flat and then back up is harder on the tires. Jeff Hinkle being the king of tire saving, surprised to see him down there. But whatever he's doing is working. He's now back up into 3rd. And he is using the apron even while he's alone. That's a bit of a surprise. Kyle Holden now up into 4th. Dan Tuma back in 5th. Look who snuck his way up. Harley Barletta now up into 6th place. Harley sets his sights on Dan Tuma, now taking 5th place. Mark back into 6th. Frank Klein into 7th. Here comes Michael Whiting now into 7th. Looks like Klein may have used up his tires a little too much early on. He was up in the top 3, but has started to fade just a little bit. Back into 8th. DJ Kenner currently running in 9th. Rick Sargent in 10th. Wild Bill Percy in 11th. Mike Smith starting to come alive in 12th. Heasley right behind in 13th. Richie West back in 14th. Brandon Springer in 15th. Ray Hillhouse up in 16th now. William Mann Sr. currently runs in 17th. Gerald Thanos Poole in 18th. Kevin Reed, Albie Ewens, Nick Marco, Brian Oshinska has really faded. After being up in the top 5 earlier, he is all the way back in 22nd. Gerald Poole, William Mann Sr., both drivers fast in practice. Not making up a lot of ground yet this evening. Speaking of, Stephen Gibson out front 3/4 of a second now ahead of Mark Nelson. Jeff Hinkle in 3rd, 1 second behind Mark, but that gap is closing quickly. Kyle Holden sits in 4th. Barletta sits 5th. Dan Tuma, Whiting, Frank Klein, DJ Kenner, and Rick Sargent rounding out your top 10. about 10 laps away from their pit window. It's been non-stop battles everywhere on track here tonight. Jared Heasley now looks under Bill Percy to try and reclaim 11th. Mike Smith up into 12th place. Richie West back behind in 13th. Mike Smith looks like he might be pulling this small three-car group up towards Percy, Heasley, and Sargent. Bill Percy makes a bold move off of turn 2 to get back underneath Heasley. Brian Oshinska is on pit road, the first pit stop of the night. A rough start to the night for Brian. Brian got 4 tires and fuel. It'll be interesting to see as Brian comes up to speed just how much different the speed is. Stephen Gibson's fastest lap, 31.23 last time by, almost a full 2 seconds slower. This track not quite as abrasive as Darlington or Rockingham, but it does wear the tires. Add to the fact that there are the bumps through 3 and 4 that unsettle and help wear those tires. And then that move down to the apron, obviously having its impact on the tires as well. And the pack is tightened back up from Mark Nelson in second, on back Jeff Hinkle in third, Kyle Holden fourth, Harley Barletta fifth, and Mark Dantuma in sixth. All nose to tail as Hinkle starts looking for a move on Mark Nelson. Kyle Holden now looking to the high side on Hinkle. I think we have seen this battle before. Jared Heasley now on pit road. Jared trying a short pit strategy here, 5 laps early. Actually, look, doing the math on Jared's stop here, that's actually the perfect point to stop. You would end up with 3 even segments. Could Jared Heasley have the best strategy here tonight? William Mann Sr. on pit road now as well. Kyle Holden pushing himself up into third place. Hinkle still battling on the bottom. Harley Barletta sits right behind him looking for an opening. Holden now into third, Hinkle in fourth now is to contend with Harley Barletta. Mark Dantuma lurking right behind. Jared Heasley has completed his stop. Nick Marco on pit road. Brian Oshinska down through turn 1 and 2 looking to see if him or Heasley. And look at the speed difference between Heasley and Kevin Reed as they go through the turn. DJ the Iceman Kenner now on pit road. These guys cannot afford to stay out too terribly long after the pit stop start. Mark Nelson is in. Mark Dantuma is in. Mark and Mark, or Mark E. Mark, as we've started calling him, on pit road. Caution! Oh my goodness, this just trapped a few drivers a lap down. Gerald Thanos Poole involved. Albie Ewan. Oh, Gerald gets down to the apron to come to pit road. The car slips. He comes up and collects Albie Hewins. Both drivers have qualified for the XCal Massive PD tomorrow night. Gotta wonder if there's going to be any payback in that one. So Mike Smith, Gerald Poole, Jared Easley, Brian Oshinska, DJ Kennard, William Mann, and Nick Marco had all completed their stops. And may end up, as well as Mike Smith and Gerald Poole, may end up trapped a lap down here. All right, let's see if we can talk to race control. Well, here they come to pit road. Let's see if we can talk to race control and see what's happening. Hey, Nicole, it's Doug. You got me?
Yep, I gotcha.
Well, that was a bit of a shock there. Any drivers complaining about the timing of that caution?
Not yet. They haven't been.
I would expect to hear some complaints any time now.
Probably going to be coming soon.
Yeah, I know several drivers may end up trapped a lap down here, but looks like Mark Nelson and Mark Dantuma came out on the good side of that.
Yep, and then hopefully they'll have another caution to get caught back up.
So, who is your pick? Who do you think is going to pull it off here tonight?
I'm going to go with Jeff. He's looking pretty good tonight.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. That's what she said. Well, good luck tonight. It has been an awesome race so far.
Yes, it has been.
Nicole, that's what she said. Creasel saying Jeff Hinkle, currently sitting in fifth, is going to pull off the win here tonight. Quite literally what she said. Mark Nelson, Mark Dantuma had just hit pit road when the caution came out, and it looks like they're both coming back down pit road. Interesting. I don't know. Maybe they drove through pit road to make sure that they got back out and maintain the lead lap. It does look like both of them are coming back down for tires and fuel. Brian Oshinska at the tail end of the lead lap. He'll get waved around the pace car. No, wait. Yeah, it looks like DJ Kenner, Brian Oshinska both going to get waved past the pace car here. As will Nick Marco. And it looks like William Mann Sr. as well. So they will be waved back to the lead lap. Everybody getting stacked up. It looks like they're about to get the waiver out. Steven Gibson comes off pit road with the lead. Harley Barletta in second. Jeff Hinkle will be third. Michael Whiting now up into fourth. Kyle Holden fifth. Rick Sargent in sixth. Rick up 10 spots so far tonight. Ray Hillhouse in 11th. Bill Percy now, Rick Sargent in 6th, Ray Hillhouse now in 7th, Bill Percy in 8th, Richie West now up to 9th, Kevin Reed in 10th. They stack back up side by side out of turn 2. Lights are off on the pace car. pace car heads around out of 3 and 4. Pace car about to drop in. Stephen Gibson controls the restart. They're in the zone. Gibson fires and green flag is in the air. Gibson quickly jumps out front. Hinkle tries to clear and does clear. Barletta now into second. Harley into third. Kyle Holden in fourth. Hillhouse and Whiting battling it out for fifth. Caution! Kevin Reed involved. Oh, we'll have to get a different angle on that. Jared Heasley gets a piece of it. Let's see what happened between Smith and... Oh, it looks like Kevin Reed tried to come down a little too far. He might have been loose. He collects Mike Smith and a big pile up behind, and Jared Heasley looked like he was trying to avoid it. Had to check up. Nick Marco had nowhere to go. So Nick Marco catches a piece of it as well. What a turn of events here, just shy of halfway. Let's see if we can get a word with our second place driver, Jeff Hinkle. Hey, Jeff, it's Doug. You got me?
I sure do, Doug.
Hey, buddy. Man, you're looking awfully fast out there tonight, but you've kind of had your hands full battling most of the race.
Yeah, it's been tough. This is not an easy track, that's for sure. And the setup swung loose all of a sudden there the last 10 laps for me, which I didn't expect. I hadn't seen that all through practice, so that kind of surprised me. I was backing up there a little bit at the end, so hopefully I can compensate for that on this run.
Well, I have to ask, how much tire saving are you doing? Because it doesn't look like, it looks like you've been out there battling, doing a lot of side-by-side. You can't be saving a lot right now.
No, these guys are too fast. I don't think you can save tires. You'll end up in the back.
That appears to be the case for a few people. Can you get by Gibson here and get a win tonight?
We'll see. He's pretty fast. He's stretched it out there on that last run, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, good luck, Jeff.
Thanks, Doug.
Jeff Hinkle currently runs in second. Stephen Gibson with the lead. Good evening, Clay. How's it going? So those guys that pitted previously are back out on track, back on the lead lap, like Jared Heasley, Kevin Reed, Brian Oshinska, Albie Hewins, William Mann Sr. Actually, I'm still showing William Mann a lap or more down, but he may get waved around on this one. We'll have to wait and see. Albie Hewins, Mike Smith, and Gerald Thanos Poole all on pit road getting repairs right now. Looking closely to see if Heasley and Kevin Reed, it looks like both drivers have gotten repairs. Look a little closer as they come by. Yep. Heasley's back in one piece, and it did look like Kevin Reed was as well. Kevin Reed likely had the hardest hit in that incident. Mike Smith now on his way off pit road. He lost a lot of time. Looks like he sat on pit road and got manual repaired. He is now showing a lap down, so we still have a few drivers, one or more laps down. William Mann, Gerald Poole, Nick Marco, and Mike Smith. Still 18 cars on the lead lap as they get side by side for the restart. Again, Stephen Gibson will control the restart here. Pace car pulls in, they stack up and get ready. Green flag back in the air. Gibson gets another great jump. Looks like Hinkle might have been a little slow on the start as Harley Barletta's got to run underneath. Now Hinkle's found the speed. They get single file very quickly as Bill Percy and Rick Sargent just outside of the top five single file, but a lot of battling going on back behind. Richie West now in the top 10 in 9th. Mark Dantuma in 10th, Mark Nelson in 11th. And they have Brandon Springer and Frank Klein now fighting behind. Frank currently running in 12th place, had a great start to this race, but looked like he used up his tires early. Expect him to be a little more conservative on this run. And they are trying to get 4 wide down the front straightaway. Off turn 2, Mark Nelson trying to reel in Mark Dantuma. Rick Sargent was trying to make some moves on the restart. Now Dantuma looks to the high side. Meanwhile, Bill Percy up to 6th place. He's setting his sights on the top 5 now. Wild Bill Percy trying to run down Ray Hillhouse, currently in 5th. Hillhouse having another great run here tonight as well. His season has gotten off to a pretty good start other than last week at Watkins Glen. Currently sits 13th in points, 3 top 10s, 1 top 5. Kyle Holden getting back to the outside on Jeff Hinkle. Jeff said not saving tires much here. Kyle and Jeff has gone back and forth almost since the drop of the green. Bill Percy has got his hands full. Dantuma and Whiting right behind him. And it is a mess right behind Bill Percy. From 6th on back, it is just battle after battle as Dantuma moves to the bottom, tries to make a move on Wild Bill. Down the front straightaway outside the top 5. It is side by side everywhere. Dantuma now up into 6th. Bill Percy now back in 7th, but we've seen him make this move before. Can he get to the bottom and get the run? Not yet. Mark Nelson now back in 8th. Jared Easley, even after being caught in that incident, he is now up into 9th. As he battles it out with Michael Whiting on the bottom. Jared Heasley, one of only 2 drivers to have won this season. 6 races in, only 2 winners. Tonight could be a huge night. But Kyle Holden has set his sights on Stephen Gibson. Could Kyle pull off win number 5 here tonight? just past halfway. Gibson still has half a second on Kyle Holden. Jeff Hinkle back in third. Hillhouse in fourth. Mark Dantuma in fifth. Harley Barletta now back into sixth. Mark Nelson currently in seventh, battling Michael Whiting, battling with Bill Percy, eighth and ninth. Rick Sargent now in 10th. Right behind him, Frank Klein and Jared Heasley battle it out. Kevin Reed right behind them. Mike Smith currently sitting in position to get the lucky dog if another caution comes out. Gerald Poole challenging for him for that right now, all over his back bumper. William Mann Sr. back in 21st, Nick Marco in 22nd. Albie Hewins currently the last car on the lead lap in 18th. I have to wonder if Albie did not get full repairs after that incident. He is definitely off pace here. It looks like the car has been fully repaired. Let's see if we can go inside the car. No, he is at full speed. Must have had a problem early on in the run. Stephen Gibson's lead has shrunk. Kyle Holden is there. Kyle Holden comes in tonight 6 points behind Heasley. As they run right now, Holden would take the points lead if he won tonight. Jeff Hinkle sits back in third, waiting for these two to start battling so he can reel them in. Hillhouse now in fourth. Dan Tuma now in fifth. Harley Barletta, oh, wow! Rick Sargent leaning on Barletta there. Let's take another look at this. There's Rick sending it into turn 3. Harley up on the high side. Looks like Rick just got a push. Coming out of the turn, they almost get together. Heasley takes advantage, goes to the high side. Rick Sargent now still, oh, Rick's starting to blink. Jared Heasley now up into ninth. Harley Barletta, though, was up in the top 5 earlier, is faded back into 8th. A bit of a surprise to see Harley going backwards. Could he be marching back forward now? Last season we heard Harley talking a lot about learning to manage his tires better. Harley has always been fast. Tire management was always his biggest struggle. He seems to have figured that out, as now he goes by Mark Nelson for 7th. Worth noting, as we mentioned, Harley Barletta came in tonight 20th in points, having only made 2 starts this season. This is his 3rd. He'll pick up at least a few spots here tonight, as will Mark Nelson. Mark having missed a few of the races in the early going. Came in tonight 18th in points. Jeff Hinkle now back to 4th. Hillhouse has gone to 3rd. Thank you, Nicole, for the stars. Michael Whiting, Mark Dantuma battling it out. Looks like Whiting's going to pull ahead. Jeff Hinkle still trying to find a way back around Hillhouse. Hinkle looks to the bottom as they go off it. Wow, Hinkle really sending into 3. Michael Whiting, though, is the man charging now. Up front, Stephen Gibson still holding off Kyle Holden at the moment. From 3rd on back to about 8th place, they are all separated by 0.8 of a second. Any one of these guys can make a move any moment as Hinkle looks for 3rd. Barletta dropping down underneath Dantuma, following Michael Whiting. That high line, you're able to carry so much more momentum, but obviously the bottom line is a shorter distance, and if you have the space, you can get a good run off. Hey Glenn, how's it going, man? Haven't seen you around in a while. Harley Barletta makes a move off turn 4, gets every bit of momentum, and now looks underneath Michael Whiting. Wasn't enough, but man, what momentum Harley had coming off 4. Dantuma now looking up to the high side. He's going to be able to block Harley's run here off turn 4. No, Harley clears him. Jeff Hinkle now back into 3rd. Ray Hillhouse in 4th. Ray Hillhouse has drifted back to 13th in points. Looking to make up some ground here tonight. Last week, the biggest mover was Ian Ogden. He gained 7 spots during the race last week. However, Ian not here tonight. Gibson and Holden still out front. Holden not pushing the issue. Jeff Hinkle now in 3rd, 2 seconds back, leading this big group as Harley Barletta tries and looks like he is finally going to get past Michael Whiting for 5th. Harley Barletta now back in the top 5. Mark Dantuma currently in 7th, Nelson in 8th. Heasley now up into 9th, the biggest mover of the night after starting 20th. Just imagine if Heasley had actually qualified. Rick Sargent currently running in 10th, trying to get around Heasley. He's got a good run. DJ, the Iceman Kenner just outside of the top 10 now. DJ Curley sits in 11th now, looking under Heasley, but looks like he lost a little momentum on entry into 1. Remember, a lot of these drivers stopped on lap 42, and you heard Jeff Hinkle talk about late in the run, the setup, the car just snapped back to loose the last 10 laps or so. They're 35 laps into this run. Expect some of these guys at tail end to be kicking out. Michael Whiting and Harley Barletta going at it again. Barletta, the momentum advantage on the high side. Dantuma and Nelson trying to build some momentum back behind as well. Dantuma looking up to the high side. Will Mark Nelson shoot the gap underneath? Stephen Gibson continues to lead. Kyle Holden currently in second. Jeff Hinkle in third. Ray Hillhouse in fourth. Harley Barletta now into fifth, looking for a pass on Hillhouse. Barletta's got the run underneath. Michael Whiting lurking right behind. Hillhouse pulls ahead as they go through 1 and 2. Barletta can't get it. Kyle Holden. Oh, first car to hit pit road. Mark Nelson and DJ Kenner are in. Just under 30 laps to go. Everybody is within the window. No big advantage to stretching the tires and fuel at this point in the race. Mark Dantuma now on pit road. We have seen all night on a 40-lap run, the drop is about 2 seconds you lose on old tires. So these guys getting in, getting tires early, definitely going to have an advantage. Bill Percy is in. William Mann Sr. is in. The only advantage to staying out longer is like we saw in that first set in the middle of green flag pit stops, we had our first caution. Jeff Hinkle, Ray Hillhouse, Michael Whiting all on pit road. Rick Surgeon is in. Our leaders are going to have to pit soon or they're going to get run over with that speed difference. Neither driver setting up for pit road this time. Barletta's going to give up third. He's on his way in. Brandon Springer's going to come in. Richie West is coming in. Jared Heasley is in. Kevin Reed and Albie Hewins both stay out. Frank Klein also staying out. Frank was in the top 3 earlier, trying to fight his way back up through a little strategy here. Klein now coming in. Kevin Reed is in now as well. Mark Dantuma currently leads all the cars that have been to pit road. Kyle Holden is in now as well. Stephen Gibson, the only driver to have not pitted yet. And as they run right now, when Stephen goes in, that should give the lead back to Dantuma. That'd be the first time Dantuma has led tonight. Stephen Gibson continuing to stay out. That's a bit of a surprise. Kyle Holden is on his way out. Will Dan Tuma be able to pass him? This could be the battle for the win. Kyle Holden, here he comes, but Dan Tuma slips by. Mark Dan Tuma now into second place, waiting for Stephen Gibson to hit pit road. And Gibson continuing to stay. Oh, that car is getting loose. Dan Tuma has 2.1 seconds on current third place car Ray Hillhouse. Kyle Holden right behind him in fourth. Mark Nelson now in fifth. Harley Barletta in sixth. Hinkle is seventh. The Iceman, DJ Kenner, now in eighth. Michael Whiting sits ninth. Rick Sargent 10th. Look at this. What a comeback for Gerald Thanos Poole. He was in 11th, but Bill Percy just came flying by. Oh, Gerald has not been to pit road yet. Neither has Mike Smith. Both drivers hoping for that caution here. Gibson is on pit road. He has given up the lead. Now can Dan Tuma get around and reclaim it? Aaron, I was thinking pretty much the same thing. The leader is giving up a ton of time here. Mark Dan Tuma is going to come by pit road. He's going to come around one more time. Mark Dan Tuma has the lead now as Gibson comes off pit road. Gibson may have waited too long. Dan Tuma now to the lead. Hillhouse in second, 2 seconds back. Kyle Holden sits third. Mark Nelson now at fourth. Jeff Hinkle in fifth. Can Dan Tuma hold him off for 22, now 21 more laps? Mark Dan Tuma pulled away just a little bit on that last lap. Now 2.25 seconds over Holden and Hillhouse. Holden has gotten by into second place. Mark Nelson, Jeff Hinkle, and Harley Barletta. Oh, Harley makes a move down to the bottom trying to get around Hinkle. Hinkle holds him off for the moment. Mike Smith, Gerald Poole have finally completed their pit stops. Actually, Mike is on pit road right now. Thanos has completed his stop. And look for Gerald Thanos Poole to be a dominant driver in the draft tomorrow night when XCal goes and has the massive Whale PD event. Still time to register for the final qualifier tonight. Go to xcalracing.com to get signed up. Kyle Holden has pulled away from Hillhouse, now running down Mark Dan Tuma. 1.5 seconds is the gap. Jeff Hinkle now into fourth. Barletta and Nelson battling it out for fifth. Michael Whiting now in sixth. Stephen Gibson, after waiting a long time for that pit stop, now back in eighth. He does have the freshest tires out there, but will it be enough? He is currently 4 seconds behind the leader. I seem to recall Gibson pulling something like this off last season as well. We'll see if he can get it done here tonight. He is gaining on the leaders now, 4.25 seconds back as they go down the backstretch. William Mann Sr. has gone off track, quickly recovered. Let's see what happened. Coming out of turn 4. Oh, he gets the wall. Goes through the grass, but holy cow, he manages to hold it. Gets it down off the track. Albie Hewins is going off track. Looks like Albie got the wall out of turn 2, managed to get down out of the racing groove, and Albie toes to pit road. Kyle Holden has gotten past Mark Dantuma and taken the lead. And now they go by Nick Marco. Dantuma has a close call with Marco off turn 2. Stephen Gibson now up into 6th place, comes underneath Barletta. Now just 2.5 seconds behind the leader. Looks like he's averaging half a second a lap. I'm being told to look at the incident with William Mann again. Let's see what happened here. Hard hit into the outside wall. He comes up the track. A hard hit to the outside wall again. Brian Oshinska sneaks it by, tries to get it wound up. Oh, he snaps, but oh, that's what happened to Albie. Albie got man-slammed. Stephen Gibson now up into 3rd. And here I was thinking only William Mann Jr. did that, but Sr. got it tonight. Gibson now to 2nd and sets his sights on Kyle Holden, just 2.1 seconds ahead. Could this strategy have paid off? Did Stephen Gibson just outsmart the entire field? Gibson is running down the leader quickly. Aaron Mason, we may have both been wrong about this strategy because Gibson is chopping away a 1/4 second or more every single lap. Last time by, he was half a second faster than the leader. Three-tenths of a second the last couple of laps, as much as half a second on lap 96. That gap is closing quickly. At 3/10 of a second, he'll catch him in 5 laps. 9 laps to go now for our leader. Gibson did not gain as much ground on that lap. Looks like the tires may be starting to equalize. He only stayed out an extra 3 laps more than Kyle Holden. Last time by 2/10 of a second. The gap now for Stephen Gibson, 1 1/4 seconds. Meanwhile, Ray Hillhouse, Harley Barletta, Mark Dantuma, and Jeff Hinkle try and sort out who's going to come home in 3rd. Harley gets a bit of a push through 1 and 2, but look at Hinkle go. Oh, Hinkle lost a ton of momentum off 2. Dan Tuman out of the bottom. Barletta and Hillhouse still battling it out. Looks like Harley's going to take third. Gibson, the last couple of laps, has made up only a few hundredths of a second. Kyle Holden's going to come around and get 5 laps to go. Gibson trying to crank it back up here, closing into almost 1 second. He may get to Holden, but it's going to be tricky to get past him. Could Kyle Holden get his 5th win of the season and retake the points lead here tonight? Jared Easley currently running back in 12th place. Does look like Kyle Holden will reclaim the points lead. Easley battling with Rick Sargent and Richie West at the moment. Frank Klein is back on pit road. Three laps to go. Gibson less than a second behind. Barletta now in third. Hinkle now to fourth. Hillhouse back in fifth. Mark Dantuma in sixth. Michael Whiting currently runs seventh. Mark Nelson in eighth. DJ the Iceman Kenner back in ninth. Brandon Springer currently runs in 10th. The lead now down to under 7/10 of a second as they get 2 to go. Kyle Holden cannot afford to make a single mistake here. Gibson sending it for all he's got. Kyle Holden comes through 3 and 4. He is looking for the white flag this time. Harley Barletta has pulled away from that battle, as has Jeff Hinkle. Hillhouse now in 5th. White flag is in the air for Kyle Holden. The gap now 6/10 of a second. It doesn't look like Gibson is going to have enough here. Kyle Holden comes down through 3 and 4. Gibson not close enough. Wow, Gibson really sent it that time. It won't be enough. Kyle Holden gets his 5th win of the season. Stephen Gibson, a hard-fought 2nd place. Harley Barletta comes home in 3rd. Jeff Hinkle comes home 4th. Ray Hillhouse in 5th. Mark Dantuma 6th. Michael Whiting in 7th, Mark Nelson in 8th, DJ Kenner in 9th, and Brandon Springer comes home 10th. Jared Easley, who had the points lead coming into tonight, he finishes 12th and will lose the points lead here. And let's talk to our top 3, starting with Harley Barletta. Hey Harley, it's Doug. You got me?
What's going on, dog? We got a top 3.
Man, I know, and you were back and forth a lot tonight.
Yeah, we're just hanging out, saving tire, and hoping we can get long runs, which obviously we did. 2 cautions, pretty good race, fun.
It was in quite a battle you guys had going there that last 10 laps or so. The 4 of you battling for 3rd.
Yeah, it was fun. I love watching all the different lines, too, because it was just so much fun looking back in my mirror and just seeing people dive down to the bottom and people running up top. It was a good race.
Well, man, welcome back as always, and a great, great finish, great podium tonight.
Oh yeah, man. Thanks for having us.
Harley Barletta comes home in third. Steven Gibson finishes second, and what a run. And Steven, I have to ask, how many more laps did you need?
Eternity, Doug. And that's what I needed. No, I think maybe a few more laps, if it maybe would have went in my favor. I mean, I saw him touch the wall, and that kind of got me closer to him, but it still was just too much distance. I think I ran too many laps after he pitted, maybe one too many. I think if I had pitted just maybe one lap sooner, I could have been there on him at least to give him a good battle for the first. But yeah, I mean, it was fun, you know.
It was awesome watching you charge back through, obviously 3 or 4 laps after everybody else. We wondered if that was going to pay off, but man, it really did. You charged back through the field.
Yeah, I don't think it paid off as much as I would have liked it. I think if I would have pitted probably a little bit earlier, I could have managed the tires a lot better. I seem to be doing fine with that. I think I just kind of made a mental error there and running a few extra laps rather than just kind of pitting early and spacing myself out, because I knew long run I had the speed for it after, before that first caution happened. So we'll see.
All right, man. Congratulations. That was an awesome run.
Yep. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Steven Gibson comes home second looking, and let's talk to our winner. Kyle, it's win number 5 on the season, man.
Hey, how's it going, Doug?
It's good. 7 races, and you've got 5 wins, and you reclaim the points lead tonight.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to win that one. Steven was fast all day here, and I just think my pit stop was probably just a little bit better than him, and just gave me a couple seconds advantage. And then as soon as he was catching me, I was like, man, if he had 10 more laps, he'd be around me. But it was a great race by everyone.
It did look like, man, you had a couple of times where you started to fade a little bit there in that battling early on between you and Hinkle. You two were going at it for most of the race.
Yeah, we were having a blast out there. I kept burning the right front off, and the right rear was still on somehow. So he just had the best of me there, and we just kept on battling. We cool our tires off and then battle again. So it was a lot of fun out there with him.
Well, man, again, congratulations on the win. You reclaimed the points lead and won 5 of the 7 races this season. Great job, Kyle.
Appreciate it, Doug.
Kyle Holden gets his 5th win of the season. Good evening, Hayden. How are you, buddy? I hadn't seen you in forever. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to come back Monday and Tuesday night. The massive whale PD put on by XCal Racing. If you want to sign up, there's still time. I think the next or the final qualifier starts at 10 Eastern, so you can go to XCal Racing, get signed up, and get a chance at that $3,000 purse. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.